Hi everyone, thanks so much and welcome back. It's always lovely to connect with you. I hope wherever you are today you feel sunny, you feel lifted, and most importantly, you feel rooted, grounded, connected to your higher self and your higher power. Today, I want to talk about a subject. I think most people can easily take a deeper dive with me into this topic. It is the three reasons that most people will leave a relationship. Some of us have been impacted by these reasons. Many of us have found ourselves on both the giving and the receiving end of these circumstances that I'm about to share. Want to put out a disclaimer first and foremost. So it's interesting. People put out all kinds of numbers. There's all types of research, data, facts, statistics. I want to be clear. I want to be clear of the primary source of my information. So I have been sitting in sacred places with people for over 20 years. Over 20 years, men, women, families, groups, audiences, children, what have you. And so, my data, if you will, is of the most powerful and potent kind. It comes to you firsthand. So when I share these reasons with you, understand that the information comes straight from the horse's mouth, if you will. So I want to dive into this, and I want to talk about the first reason. And you may have automatically may have already popped into your mind, but the first reason that people leave is a lack a lack of appreciation and gratitude inside of a relationship. And you may have heard the quote, two things people never tire of: being thanked and being appreciated. In all these years, I've only come across one person, and this person was kind of a bird of a different feather that really didn't want to be thanked, acknowledged, or appreciated. But most people thrive. They will thrive on that energy. And when that type of care, concern, and consideration is lost inside of a relationship, it is a recipe. It is a recipe for what I call just a relationship fatigue can set in. I remember at one point working with this couple, and the gentleman, very lovely, loyal, dutiful man. And let's just say his parent, who he was paired up with, this individual really kind of had some rough edges. And we were in session at one point, and he was just explaining, how it felt not to be appreciated. And his counterpart kind of looked over, and I know that she missed this look on his face, but I caught it. And it's something about doing this work as long as I have. There can be like a flash millisecond where you can just read the life of someone just on their face. They can make a facial expression. And I knew in that moment, I'm like, either he is seriously contemplating leaving, or he's already left in his mind, because it was a look of kind of fatigue, disgust, just resignation, all wrapped into one. And sure enough, I heard from him a year later. He dropped me a line, and he said, I have to tell you, I feel like a new person. I'm involved with someone now, and the level I am appreciated for the littlest things. We could go for some ice cream. We could go take a walk, and I'm just showered with warmth and appreciation. And in as much as I'm falling in love with this person, I'm falling in love with just the state of being appreciated. And he went on to share briefly what bothered me so much is just this: so little virtually no gratitude and all this expectation. I'm expected to work as hard as I do, then come home and I'm doing things around the house and I'm doing XYZ, and then I'm expected to do this or behave this way or purchase this on holidays. So much expectation with little, if any, gratitude, and it just wore me down. So, folks, I'm here to tell you, and the things that I'm sharing with you today, you can certainly translate them to all relationships, although I'm talking more about couplings at this time, but you could think about your family members or your friends. Successful relationships are successful to the extent that needs are met successfully. That's really what it boils down to. I think people try to twist it up, make it fancier than it is. I don't know if that's just boredom in our world today, but some of the basic, tried and true information, it still stands. If I have any superpower at all, it's common sense. And it is common sense that when someone is taking a walk with you, they're journeying with you, there can be a melancholy, there can be a natural fatigue, um, a boredom can just set in with a mundane type of energy. And that's just natural. People don't want to talk about it, but I'm this show. This is real talk. This is for real, a for real show. It happens. So the niceties, the courtesies, being pleasant, being grateful, that carries an energy to it. And it can really compensate for a lot. It meets a need. I'll point the finger at myself. I'm not a perfect person. I have shortcomings. That said, I use a pleasant attitude, consistent gratitude toward Andreas, toward my friends, toward my family. That can make up for a lot of shortcomings. Just that energy of warmth and appreciation. It goes a long way. It goes a long way. You may say, he may not be the most affectionate, but he's so sweet and grateful. She may have this or that shortcoming, but she's so grateful. She lets me know she's appreciative. So again, we leverage everything that we have available to keep our relationships crisp, fresh, and moving forward. The second piece that I want to share with you, the second reason is really falling out of what I call communication, falling out of communication and wandering somewhere into this stranger slash roommate zone. I was sitting with a woman and who had reached the pinnacle of her career, ultra successful, and she was sharing with me, this is yet another accolade, Sheila. This happened last week. And I'm like, what? Excuse me, repeat it again. And over the years, I would have so many moments with people of like these magnificent moments of their growth. And I'm like, what do I do? Do I give them like a gold star moment or 5 stars? So I keep a big basket of various gift cards. And so when one of those moments happens, I'll run up and she shared with me. I ran to my basket. I'm like, oh my God, this is a gift card moment. This is amazing. And we had this moment. Then I saw kind of a sadness come across her face. And I said, hey, what's wrong? This is a celebratory moment. And she was like, you know what? I'm going to go home. I'm going to share exactly what I shared with you. And it's going to be like, can you pass me the gravy? Can you pass some more sauce for the pasta? It's going to be like, I never shared anything. And it brings me down to the point that how can I be sharing space with this person? I mean, don't even know what's happening for me in my career, how my deepest desires and wants. There's just things I feel like I should be able to share, and we just don't talk. We're two ships passing in the night. And so if someone lives like that long enough, or if you have lived like that long enough, you wake up and it's like, at this point, we're strangers. So let's make it official. If we're strangers already, let's just go ahead and do the deal. Let's go our own separate ways. You don't want your relationship to fall into quote unquote the stranger danger zone, because it's not that you can't rekindle it or respark. You know, people rekindle all the time. It's just a momentum that can be difficult to cut through. People say, "Oh, I'm gonna make time. I'm gonna make time." We don't make time. I don't want to hear about making time. I also don't want to hear anything about I'm busy. This is going to. I don't want to hear that either, because anything that is a priority, anyone that is a priority, we will already take the time. We're not in the kitchen making up biscuits or putting the flour together. We just take it, we snatch it. This is important. I'm snatching the time, you see. And we go accordingly from there. But Sheila, I guess I'm going, the kids, whatever case may be, they've got to sleep. At some point, the little people in your house, even the pets, have to sleep. That's when you break out a blanket, get some cheese, crackers, wine, whatever the case may be, giggle, laugh, catch up on things, toast each other, go out in the backyard, whatever the case may be. Get creative about it. Get creative about it. But have the time set aside where you connect consistently, a couple times a week. You know, do your dates. I recommend for couples, keep a journal, pass it between the two of you. There is no reason in this earth, and I am busy. I have a busy household, but you stop, you're appreciative, you take the time to talk what's happening in your life, what's happening in your mind, and you don't let this grand canyon of space and time situate itself between your intimacy, your ideas, your conversation. And another thing, when that whole stranger mode happens in a relationship, it also leads to, you know, alienation of affection. Most of us don't want to be affectionate with strangers or take our clothes off for a stranger and have intimate moments. So this is really all, it's very connected. But Sheila, I've already fallen into the pattern. Well, someone has to be the relationship hero. Someone has to be the relationship hero and say, you know what, it's going to be uncomfortable. I'm going to take one for the team and we're going to get this back on track. Someone's got to do that if you've already fallen into that particular state. And then lastly, I will share that when ill will takes the lead, when ill will in a relationship dominates, that's just the door is half cracked open for the relationship to split apart. And what do I mean by ill will? I was working with a gentleman and he became ill, literally physically sick, ended up in the hospital, had to come home and heal, and his partner didn't show up at the hospital when he got home, wasn't helping to care for him. Simple things like, let me make sure there's a fridge of grocery because you can't go out. Let me make sure that you're changing your bandages, whatever. And he said to me, you know what? It scared the living daylights out of me because it was almost as if I had an enemy in my presence. Little things that could have been done weren't. I don't know when we crossed over into enemy territory, but I know that this person does not mean me, does not have my best intentions at heart. And I think most of us feel that way. For me, I can tolerate a lot. I don't need anyone to jump up and do backflips for me or be a cheerleader. I'm fortunate that my husband is all those things, but even like in friendships or family members. But the deal breaker for me is like I'm out. If I feel you have ill intentions or ill will, like you don't need to be doing backflips, but if I feel you're working against me and like actively or diligently working against me, we're done. Because to me, that's dangerous. That's a different level of pathology. So when a relationship crosses over into that zone where you almost feel there's this tension or this animosity, this ill will, it's so thick you can cut it with a knife, that's generally a space and time where people will make an exit too. And some of you may say, well, Sheila, where is finance and all of this? Because that's a top reason. It's true, that is a top reason. But see, I'm dealing with root cause in this video. So if you look at a lot of what happens a couple with their finances, if the gratitude, if the respect is there, if some of these basic things are in place, you could have financial issues and weather that storm. It's very seldom that, you know, all things being equal, someone's finances will shift dramatically and it ends the relationship. If there's respect, regard, true love is there, yeah, if you're with a gold digger, I'm sorry, you lose your job. It's probably going to be over because that was their impetus. That was the foundation of the relationship. But everything else being in place, respect, love, regard, that gives you the ammo to weather the storms of life. If financial calamity or what have you may befall the relationship. So I didn't want you to think I'm just blatantly leaving that one out. I want to give you a reason. So these are some things to really think about. And whether, even if you're listening to this and you're on the receiving end of all of this, I mean, the message for you today is, yeah, if you're justifiably thinking about hitting the door, yeah, you're fairly well justified if all of this energy is coming at you. If you're, on the other hand, you are sitting inside the relationship, not being as grateful as you should, not communicating to the level that you could, it's time to really think about why. Ask yourself that question and do an assessment of the level of impairment that has caused in your relationship. And I hope this video has been helpful. I hope it gives you something to think about. I'm just all about lifting you up, lifting your life up, giving you relevant information that makes a difference. And thank you so much. I'll connect with you soon.